Hello, it's Burgess Taylor, and we're going to go over the first week of Finding Water by Julia Cameron. So I'm doing the 12-week guided course. This first week for this book was a lot more in-depth, a lot more stuff than The Artist's Way. That's okay though. It was a really good read. It was very interesting. I thought I'd go over some of the stuff from it. For Finding Water, in the first chapter, she covers the basics, which are morning pages, 3 handwritten pages of stream of consciousness writing that puts you in the here and now. You can talk about your wishes, your dreams, your likes, your dislikes. She says that these are the voice of our soul, the words that we write. By letting our soul speak first thing in the morning, we align ourselves with the universe. Morning pages are also a form of meditation. She says that writing first thing in the morning means that we're more honest, we're more vulnerable, that we lay our negativity, our negative soundtrack, she calls it, onto the page, and then we get it out of our head and on the way to being out of our lives, that we register it with the universe instead of just suffering through it unconsciously. Then she goes into talking about artist dates and seeking to nurture our creativity. We too need adventures that can be counted on. Artist dates are to romance or to woo our artist. It's a weekly solo expedition to do something that is just plain fun, that gives us back a sense of wonder, that it should be like play. For artist dates, you can go to a museum, you can go to a art store, you can go to a movie, you can go to see a play, you can go to playground, you can go have coffee, you can go somewhere and write or draw or read or whatever works for you, but she says that you need to be doing it solo. I have taken quite a few artist dates with my daughter, however, who is also an artist, and I find those really therapeutic, very good for me. The next thing she talks about are walks. That walking wakes our consciousness, that it enlivens our senses, and that helps our well-being, that walking helps unravel things. 20 minutes to an hour at least once a week. I plan on a walk every day, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then once a week I will be doing an hour walk. So week 1 is called Uncovering a Sense of Optimism. She says that it's being a beginner. She talks about the deferred dream and ask you what your deferred dream is. We talk about that. That is mine, is to finish my novel, the first 2 actually now, that you imagine yourself actually doing what you long to do. So I read about that and I found that very interesting, and I'm going to read you just a little bit of it because the rest of it's pretty personal, but I've just typed the last sentence of my novel and I'm about to type the end. I have a glass of wine to celebrate my accomplishment. Mr. Rockstar smiles as we both take a sip, and I slide my chair out of the way to make room for him. He types the end, like in Stephen King's novel. For me, it feels good to finish, to have accomplished my goal, to have finally finished a novel completely. So then she talks about writing down what you think you need to do in order to accomplish that, your vision for the practical part of that, what I'd need to do to accomplish that. In other words, I have a few things written down, like starting the day with morning pages, getting on a schedule, sticking to that schedule, making blocks of time for extra writing, get into the habit, the routine, writing every day, which is part of the reason I'm in the Hot and Sticky Novel Writing Challenge for the summer. She talks about co-conspirators, people who help you feel good, like other writers or other artists or other things like that, people that are doing the same thing. It helps you. I love this quote. This was in The Artist's Way too. Joy is in the process, not just the product. She says to make a list of people that you can go to for encouragement, that she calls them believing mirrors. She talks about focusing and to take time to see that your artist's eye must be schooled. You must work to keep your optimism, to cling to the small and positive, that walking and putting words on the page, drawing, painting, that kind of thing, and not entertain the large and overwhelming. If you entertain the negative, that's romancing trouble. So she tells you to entertain the positive, to remember the positive, to live each day carefully. She says, right, you walk. Those are things that she must do, that she must not binge on drama or despair, which makes sense to me because that week I was so with the depression and the anxiety and overwhelmed and stressed out. The negativity was feeding, and I had to break that. She says we can choose to focus on the positive or on the negative. It's our choice. That we can choose to see the beautiful or the ugly. So she tells you to make a list of 5 beautiful things that you've seen recently. My yellow roses outside have bloomed and the bush is so full. She's so pretty, y'all. Sky filled with stars the other night. The sky was lit up. Oh, it was so gorgeous. The other day, Mr. Rockstar and I were looking at clouds, and the clouds were moving. This one little section of the cloud was moving. You could see it. It was beautiful. And then my grandson smiled. He spent the night with Mimi last night, and this morning I took him to daycare. Big school. His big classroom. He's in 4K now. Or he starts it actually in August, so they're preparing them right now. So then she talks about grounding. And she says that optimism is partially a trained response. She says, I cannot give up just because the going is tough right now. She says, I must buck the tide of discouragement. She says meditation gives us the sense of something larger and other than ourselves. And morning pages is a good way for meditation. Walking is a good way in a way for meditation. She says fatigue can make it hard to have faith. Just do the next right thing. That was a quote from somebody in that section. Quoted somebody else having said that. And then she tells you to list 5 home actions that ground you. I did this and I found this really interesting because when I was reading what she had wrote about grounding, and then I realized that I do these things a lot of times. Cleaning up clutter. One of the things I do to be creative, to be more creative, to stay in creative, to be motivated to be creative. It's like sort of a 15-minute clean. Pick up some of the clutter to get things a little bit more organized. I also do dishes or vacuum. I dust furniture. I fold clothes, and I clean the bathroom. Those are things that when I need to think and I'm not quite sure of where I'm kind of going with that or whatever, I will do things like that. And I break up my routine and get myself up out of the chair, and those things help me. So next thing she talks about are possibilities. She says, as artists, we must learn to try. We must learn to act affirmatively. All creative acts are acts of initiative. Art is born, but not without labor on our part. It begins with possibility. Honesty is the starting off point of possibility. Honesty begins with specificity. Specificity. I can't talk today. Specificity. Honesty begins with being specific. Entertaining the possible is the province of art. It is the possible that sets the creative engine humming. It is possible. I can write a novel. I can. Becomes I will. The impulse is playful. It is an impulse born of pure faith. The artist has a vision, and that vision includes the successful completion of the art that he or she has in mind. The artist pushes forward into growth. The artist doesn't pause to ask if his work is timely. It goes from I can to I will to I could try to I'm doing. The artist, like I said, pushes forward into growth. The artist doesn't pause to ask. After she tells you that, she tells you to list a few things that you could try to do that you haven't done in a while or that you would like to do. Writing poems again, drawing faces more, talking more, taking more pictures. That's week 1 of finding water. I noticed that some of the suggestions in here are a little bit repetitive of the artist's way, but I have been trying to think of different ways to get inspired, to stay motivated, to help me be more productive and to lead a more productive and creative life. And I'm going to put that because I have 12 ways to get inspired and stay motivated. And then I have a list of 4 or 5 things to help keep myself productive or to be more productive. I'm going to put that in the blog post. I hope you guys have a good one. I hope you'll read my blog post. Thanks for watching. Bye.